Good morning and welcome on this blessed Sunday. And thank you for joining me today as we discuss part three of our four-part topic on talking negative about others. Today's subject is slander. Now, boy, is this the thing to do with many souls who are lost and walk in darkness. A time where we once were, that we are now in again as it recycles. The me attitude ever. It's all about me, and the lives of others don't matter. The souls that walk in darkness in these days don't care who they hurt, slander, and ruin, just so they get ahead themselves. They have no regard for others' lives. Now, the sad part is a good portion, but not all, of these people attend church, and they put on that facade of the good Christian, where we have it right with God. We love Jesus, we follow Jesus, we do the right thing. And the truth is, and the reality, and I'm not talking about their truth or their reality, I'm talking about God's reality, God's truth, because that's the only truth, is that they're in total delusion. They're living in a world of fantasy. Now, part two of the sad part of this is a lot of churches, again, not all the churches that are out there, know about this and they turn a blind eye. These churches condone this in the sense that they have abandoned love, mercy, and have not put God first, Jesus second. They've put attendance, numbers, and financial gain and financial income above God and above Jesus. Remember, we aren't the church. God is the church. Jesus is the high priest. We're a part of the church. We make up the church. Now, in the government, in churches, schools, workplaces, communities, social clubs, there is so much slander that it's breaking God's heart each and every day. Jesus himself cries a billion tears when he sees his children hurt each other and slander each other. And people who call themselves God's children, Jesus' followers, spread false information and rumors about others, and yet pretending to be their friends. The two-faced people. We love you, you're a great person, you're doing a great thing, you got a great job, great house, great family, and then when the back is turned, they're bad-mouthing them and knocking them and tearing them down behind their back. All for the sake of getting ahead. This without a care for others' well-being. Now, here's the kicker. If and when it comes down to them, and people start rumors about them and slander them and their name, their reputation, and are two-faced with them, and they find out about it, then they go off the deep end. Then it's not fair. Then they're the victim. They always play the victim. That's what slanderous, two-faced people do. They twist everything around where they're always a victim. They more or less stir the pot and step back in the shadows. And when the darkness comes into the light, which all darkness is revealed, everything, all truth is revealed, one way or the other, because God brings it all to light, they're the poor ones, victims. Now, slandering people, it's evil. It's not of God, nor is it of his Son, our judge. And I'm going to say that again, our judge. People who are slandered can not only lose their reputation, but they can lose their finances. They can even lose their job, lose their family, their spouse, their significant other. They can lose their self-esteem when they're slandered, bullied, and people are two-faced with them. So severe that they become depressed. And some of them can become so depressed that they become suicidal. And the slanderers have no remorse for this, no regard, because again, it's all about me. It's all about them. They don't care about anybody else. They just take and take and take. And when they can't take no more from one person, they'll take from another. Now, allow me to say that there is one more sad part. They will answer for this, every action of every word, because God and Jesus do not like ugly. And these slanderers don't realize it, but Lucifer, who is alive, who is kicking, who is in the world, and who knows his time is coming to an end, uses these people. And they're so blind that they can't see it because of his great authority and great power of deception. Not only is Lucifer the father of lies, he's the master of lies. He's the master and the father of deception, of illusion. And he can't stand God's people, but he makes them believe in the deception that he does. In the meantime, he's having them turn away from God and help him destroy everything that is godly. Now, the ones that worship him don't realize another fact, that if they don't turn from him and turn back to Jesus and accept him as their Lord and Savior and start doing the right thing, they're in for a rude awakening, because at their final trial, they're going to be spending eternity, which is a long time, in sheer darkness, away from God, away from all that thou now shalt, away from the compassion, away from the love, away from the light, the peace, the joy. And that's extremely a lonely place to be. Now, to mention God's thoughts on how he doesn't like ugly, how he won't be mocked, how he doesn't like arrogance and pride, we're going to take a look at Psalm 101:5. Now, I took this from King James Version. Either way, that's the Psalm. It's 101:5. Let's take a view on it. Whoso privately slandereth his neighbor, he will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and the proud heart will not I suffer. The message here that the Father is conveying is simple. You see, in the verses, even though a lot of the various versions of the Bible are very hard to understand, especially King James Version, because of the parables and the way it's spoken and written during the times that each book was written, the message, by keep reading it and reading it over and over and studying it and do Bible studies and questioning it and having other inputs on it, the messages are usually simple and quite clear to the point. God will stop the gossip of the gossipers in his time, his way. Why? Because his way and his timing is always the best and always perfect. Now, the second part of the message is God doesn't like and doesn't stand for arrogance, because arrogance, it's boastful, it's prideful, and it puts oneself above God. And no one and nothing is above God. Now, pride is the downfall of those who it fills and allows it to grow inside of them. As we all know, pride was the downfall of Lucifer. Now, the end thought I want you to dwell on as we come to a close on the sermon here. It's simple. What comes out of one's mouth defiles one more than what goes in one's mouth. Now, we all know Jesus said this in one of his sermons, and more or less to be careful of what we say and to think before we speak and not speak all that you think. Now, at your next, or I should say your final trial, you will answer for everything that's not righteous. Jesus knows, and he's watching every second, every minute, every hour of every day, from the time you were born until the time you die. The slander, it's evil, it's cruel, it's ungodly, and not the way of the Lord and our Savior taught us and still teaching us to live. Most importantly, my final thought to you is this: you will reap what you sow. Jesus also talks about this throughout the Bible. You sow good seeds, you'll reap good seeds. You sow bad seeds, your harvest will be reaping bad. You sow good and bad, well, you can't serve two masters, but since we live in a broken world, it's a fragile world, and we do fall short of God's glory and fail him every day in one aspect or another, that is, in a way, kind of reaping what we sow. It's karma. Our thoughts from the past will come back to us. Our evil thoughts, our negative thoughts, the bad things we have done will eventually come back to us. But the idea is to keep doing good and planting good seeds all the time, or as often as we possibly can, and let God and Jesus deal with the rest. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. We will have a trial. It will be our final trial. And whatever we do here will transfer over to the final trial, and we'll carry it over. And so what we'll do here will be the answer of our judgment and where we spend eternity in our next trial as we cross over. So it's very important to think and to do and to know this. Just be more godly. Yes, do we want, especially in my testimony, because I'm been slandered like all of you at one time or another. I'm still slandered here and there continuously. It happens. The idea is, yes, do we want revenge? Yes. Should we seek it? No, because vengeance belongs to the Lord. It belongs in the hands of the Creator. Okay? Jesus as the judge will deal with it. He'll consult the Father, and they'll make the decision. But they'll do it in their time, not ours. Our goal is to be like Jesus, to evolve upward and forward in spiritual evolvement, to become more like him every day. Every day he wakes us up. It's our job to be better than not the next guy, but be better than what we were yesterday. To make Jesus proud of us, that we're following him, that we have faith in him, that we have trust in him. We must endure until the end. One way or the other, the slander is the evil, we'll answer for it. So there's the comfort right there. Basic thing is we need to worry about ourselves and worry about what God thinks, what Jesus thinks. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. I'm Reverend Tony. Thank you for joining me today as we discuss this very important topic in our 4-part series. Next week, at the end of the series, part 4 will be lies and gossip. Please continue to walk in the presence of God. I'll be glad you did. Have a safe, blessed, joyous rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. Spread the peace, spread the love, and forgive as Jesus has forgiven you and as his Father, our Father, has forgiven each one, every one of us as he does every day and every time we ask him. And remember one thing, God has a message he wants me to give to you as well as Jesus. They love you, each and every one of you. You're their unique, individual creation. You're unique in your own way. Nobody else is like you, and they want you to know that. You're loved. We'll see you again next Sunday at 10 o'clock.